What's up, Facebook and YouTube? Brother Sanchez speaking. Today we're going to talk about Cern. I know there's a lot of videos on YouTube about Cern, but if you ask me, it ain't enough. And everybody really need to understand what Cern is all about. So if you don't know much about Cern, I'm going to try my best to explain it to you from a few different perspectives. The words Cern are French for the words Council Européen pour la Recherche Nucléaire. It's French, but it translates to the European Organization for Nuclear Research. So what is CERN's main function? Is to provide the particle accelerators and other infrastructure needed for high energy physics research. As a result, numerous experiments have been constructed at CERN as a result of international collaborations. CERN is also the birthplace of the World Wide Web. The main site at Marion has a large computer facility containing powerful data processing facilities, primarily for experimental data analysis. So basically, it's the largest particle accelerator in the world at 27 kilometers, and it collides protons or lead ions at energies approaching the speed of light. So by colliding particles, physicists hope to recreate the earliest moments of our universe on a much smaller scale. For a few millionths of a second after the Big Bang, the universe consisted of a hot soup of elementary particles called quarks and gluons. A few microseconds later, those particles began cooling to form protons and neutrons, the building blocks of matter. Over the past decade, physicists around the world have been trying to recreate that soup known as quark-gluon plasma, or QGP, by slamming together nuclei of atoms with enough energy to produce trillion-degree temperatures. So, y'all, we talking about temperatures that we see on the surface of the sun. We're going to be producing here on Earth. But before I get into this a little deeper, let's move on. Let's get a little bit more understanding of what CERN is. Now, there's this theoretical physicist who studied QGP at MIT, and his name is Krishna Rahagopal. And he said these words: if you're interested in the properties of the microseconds old universe, the best way to study it is not by building a telescope, it's by building an accelerator. That was the words of Krishna Rahagopal. And the thing that I wanted to point out about this guy is that his name is Krishna, and the CERN accelerator is built in the image of a deity known as Shiva, which is a variation of the god Krishna. So I found that very weird, because if you're looking at this picture right now of Shiva, it looks just like the CERN collider. And one of the theoretical physicists on the project, who's supporting the project, goes by the name of Krishna. So I found that to be real weird, but we're going to get more deeper as we move on. So let me read a little paragraph to you about CERN to give us a more deeper understanding. When two particles collide, they explode into pure energy, powerful enough to melt down atoms and break apart protons and neutrons, the building blocks of atomic nuclei, into their constituent quarks and gluons. Protons and neutrons contain 3 quarks each, and gluons are the massless glue that holds the quarks together. So with this CERN technology, they're trying to recreate these particles. So now that we have a little bit of understanding of what's going on with the CERN collider and what they're trying to do, let me go into a deeper aspect of all of this. What's going on a spiritual level is gateways are being opened. Gateways are being opened to different areas of consciousness and to different dimensions that coexist with the third dimension within this universe. So when you think about all of this from a spiritual level and you understand what's really going on, what the world leaders are doing right now is they're playing with magic that, in my opinion, humanity is just not ready for yet. So we're skipping. The instruments we're using today to get the answers to the questions we have, the instruments are based upon cheating the universe. This machine, in case y'all don't know, is very dangerous. It has the potential to wipe out a planet. When you start colliding these type of particles and recreating these situations that existed during the Big Bang, it gets very dangerous. Now, what is the safety measure used by CERN? They hoping that the design of this collider and the building that's holding it is strong enough to contain all of these collisions and all of this energy that's going on. So yeah, it's Russian roulette in a way, and it's kind of scary to think about because the gateways that we're opening, we're getting into the quantum level here. Now, what most people don't realize is that the smaller you go into your research, actually, the bigger the numbers get. Now, that's one thing that baffles scientists. So the smaller you go into the quantum world, the bigger your numbers get, the bigger your math get. That show you right there, as above, so below, what we looking at when we look at the quantum world, which is one of the basic foundations of all of the other worlds, including our dimension. So when we think about all of this, you got to understand that gateways are being opened. When you smash these particles together, you allow beings from different dimensions to now coexist in your dimension. Now, the thing about this, you don't know what kind of beings you're allowing in through these gateways. And when you're dealing with the elites, we're talking about Saturnian energy, Saturn or Satan energy. More than likely, if you ask me, they've already released many entities upon this planet with this collider, which is really magic, y'all. This Hadron Collider is a form of magic. It's a form of occult magic. It's built off the deity Shiva, which is Krishna, Vishnu, all of those Hindu deities, which also is a representation of the 8-pointed star. Now, I can get real deep into this 8-pointed star, but I have a whole movie that I'm about to put out in the middle of January, maybe, and I'm going to go into all of the symbolism you will need to know to understand this type of stuff that's going on. So the movie is going to be called Understanding Symbolism, Volume 1, Thinking Outside of Saturn's Hex Cube. So be on the lookout for that, guys. It's very informative. Now, when we talking about this Cern technology, I want to read something to y'all that was said by some very credible scientists, some very, very respected men. This article contained the words of two great respected men, one by the name of Stephen Hawking, rest in peace, who was a great theoretical physicist, and also the words of the astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is a very respected man in today's society. Let's read this article and let me tell you what these two great men had to say about Cern. With the reopening of Cern's Large Hadron Collider in March of 2015, two leading and well-respected scientists, theoretical physicists, and cosmologists, Stephen Hawking and Neil deGrasse Tyson, have recently issued independent warnings that, when looked at through the eyes of the supernatural war taking place right now upon our planet Earth between the forces of good and evil, send us a clear message. This is it. The reopening of Cern will bring together scientists playing with unknown forces, attempting to recreate the Big Bang. Dr. Stephen Hawking recently warned that the reactivation in March of Cern's Large Hadron Collider could pose grave dangers to our planet. The ultimate reality check, we are warned. Hawking has come straight out and said the God particle found by Cern could destroy the universe, leaving time and space collapse. Now, y'all, I got some videos about all of this. Everything I'm reading you right now, I got videos on. I got the links to these videos. I got the links to these articles in the description box. So get in there and you can do further research on your own. This is very deep information. So let's continue reading. Is Cern the most dangerous thing in the cosmos that could lead to the ultimate destruction of the Earth and the entire universe? Recent developments prove to us the scientific community is no longer able to explain reality without looking at the supernatural. Will we soon learn Cern is really the ultimate Stargate and one of the gatekeeper's most closely guarded secrets? Now, this is deep stuff, y'all. They saying this is a Stargate, and when you think about it, that's exactly what it is. Because as I just told you, this thing is opening up gateways. That's a Stargate, okay? There are natural Stargates that exist in our universe, but here it is, man trying to play God and create a synthetic Stargate. And in his attempts to do so, he's risking the destruction of the entire universe. Because you got to understand what's going on at Cern, y'all. They smashing together particles that created the Big Bang. What happens if the Big Bang gets recreated on the Earth? You think about it and you do the math about it. Let's continue reading. Will this be the way man attempts to break the ultimate God barrier and attempt to encounter demigods in an all-out rush towards the destruction of all creation? Let me read that again. Now, these are the words of Neil deGrasse Tyson and Stephen Hawking. I need to read that again. That's very deep. It say, will this be the way man attempts to break the ultimate God barrier and attempt to encounter demigods an all-out rush towards the destruction of all creation. We understand they won't be releasing the secrets until they are prepared to release them. So y'all, this is deep stuff, man. So Cern headquarters is actually the symbol of Shiva dancing the cosmic dance of death and destruction. Did you hear what I just said? Cern's headquarters symbol is the symbol of Shiva doing the dance of the cosmic dance of death and destruction. Signal the true purpose of Cern's existence. A look at the Shiva, the Hindu god of destruction, symbology surrounding Cern's headquarters gives us the beginning of what we need to know. Also, if you look at the Cern logo, it is indeed 666. Y'all, this ain't, come on now. You can't think all of this is a conspiracy, y'all. It's just too much now. This is just too much. And look at what they trying to do. So let me keep reading this article till you say the men who would play God in searching for the God particle are truly going to find more than they bargained for as they open the gates of hell. We are warned by Stephen Quayle. They will find interdimensional beings who have a taste for human flesh and humanity's destruction. Do you hear what I just read to you? This man said when they open up this gateway, they're going to find interdimensional beings who have a taste for human flesh. This is real stuff, y'all, because we know that the people at the top, the elites who run this planet, they are inbred with these evil beings. They already eating human flesh. So they just letting their homeboys in, and it's finna truly be hell on earth. This is deep stuff, y'all. And you know why they gonna let in these interdimensional beings? Because when you go to try and attempt to recreate these conditions that created the Big Bang, you got to understand when you go into the quantum world, when you get into the quantum world like what they doing, smashing these particles, you begin to open up gateways. Anything can go out or come into these gateways. Now, with the state of the human consciousness on this planet and the people involved in this research, we know they finna let in some devils on this planet. They're devils. This is some real deep stuff going on, y'all. Now, I ain't gonna make this long. I think I went into it deep enough. I can continue going on and on about Cern. There's a lot we can talk about it. There's a lot of symbolism involved with their logos and also with the collider itself. This is high magic, and it is very dangerous to humanity. I had to put this video out because I had to contribute to the YouTube community and give my video on Cern and help open people's eyes to what's going on with this technology. We've really reached the area of our studies that we really shouldn't be delving in, and with the people involved in the research, it gets very scary. So Brother Sanchez gonna sign off, get in the description box and do further research on this for yourself. Peace and much love.